What's up guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the B450 Gaming K4 motherboard from ASRock. Now instead of just taking a look at the board and leaving it there, we're going to do that, and also we've built a system based around this motherboard. We've paired it with a Ryzen 5 2600, so this is more than just a gaming rig. You can use this for like a sort of entry level editing system and so on. So what we'll do is we'll look at the board first and then we'll cover the gear and sort of go over the build that we've done. Before we start the build, let's take a look at ASRock's new B450 Gaming K4 motherboard. With B450, we have similar features to X470 with 2nd gen Ryzen 2 support straight out of the box, XFR2 technology, precision boost, and AMD Store MI storage acceleration has also made the jump over to the B450 chipset. The Gaming K4 features a 9-phase power design, and I have been told that this is broken down to 6 phases for CPU and 3 phases for the SoC. VRM cooling on the board looks adequate, but nothing really to brag about. Also, the lack of an I/O cover really gives the board an old-fashioned look. I guess we're so used to these covers now that boards without them just don't seem to be the norm. Memory support, we see up to 3200 MHz plus OC with a max capacity of 64 GB. As Ryzen is quite sensitive to certain memory modules, I recommend heading to ASRock's website, which outlines appropriate speeds and ranks. The board supports up to 16 PCIe Gen 3 lanes, just like on X470, but with the second 16x slot locked in at 4x. You'll only have crossfire support. That's if you game enough to run your second card at 4x speeds. It's also worth noting that if running a Raven Ridge CPU, say a 2400G, the two 16x PCIe slots will run at 8x and 4x. We also see 6 general purpose chipset PCIe Gen 2 lanes with support for just 6 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports, 2 front and 4 rear. There's also 2 USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports, a Type A and C on the rear, but no internal Type C header for front chassis I/O. Storage is pretty good with a total of 6 SATA 3, 4 off the chipset and 2 running off an ASMedia ASM1061 controller. 2 NVMe slots can be found, one running at 32 gigabits with the second supporting both PCI and SATA modules running up to 16 gigabits. It's also worth noting that the first M.2 slot is shared with the second 16x PCIe slot, which means one will be disabled if using the other. If using a Raven Ridge processor, you'll be able to take advantage of the board's display outputs. On the Gaming K4, there's the inclusion of HDMI, D-Sub, and DisplayPort version 1.2. Max resolution you'll be able to achieve is via the DisplayPort at 4K at 60Hz. Once again, we see the old pesky D-Sub port hanging around. To me, I don't find a need for it, but others may. Other features on the board include a Realtek ALC892 audio codec, which is pretty common on the B450 range of boards, Realtek RTL811H Gigabit Ethernet, as well as the inclusion of ASRock's new polychrome addressable RGB. I'll cover this in more detail later on. There's also a standard 4-pin 12V RGB header as well. Moving over to the build, our case of choice is a brand new Deepcool Matrexx 55 chassis. This was recently announced at this year's Computex and is a super affordable case featuring tempered glass side panels and up to EATX motherboard support. Cooling wise, we've gone with another new product from Deepcool, the Castle 280mm all-in-one cooler. Hands down, this is one of the best looking all-in-one coolers we've seen. Our Ryzen 2600 is our CPU choice for this system, clocking up to 3.9 GHz and featuring 6 cores, 12 threads, will provide ample performance for gaming and other tasks. Keeping a bit of an RGB theme, we've used 16GB of G.skill Trident Z RGB memory running at 3200 MHz. An ASRock Phantom Gaming X RX 570 is an affordable GPU, and paired with the above CPU will complete this system nicely. Lastly, we've thrown in an ADATA SX 8256GB NVMe M.2 SSD. These drives are competitively priced with decent performance. The build came out nicely, and working in the Deepcool Matrixx 55 was a breeze. After adding a few more Deepcool RGB fans, I think the build is done. Taking a quick look around the BIOS, I've always found ASRock BIOSes to be well laid out. The BIOS on the B450 Gaming K4 is clean and responsive. Along the top is Main, OC Tweaker, Advanced, Tools, Hardware Monitor, Security, Boot, and Exit. Basically the same as any other recent ASRock motherboard. Even on the budget B450 platform, overclocking is decent with plenty of features and voltage control. Hardware Monitor is easy to read, and you'll have plenty of options to control devices plugged into the 5 onboard PWM headers. Now another area I wanted to check out was overclocking. As B450 is budget, you can still do some overclocking as well. I jumped in the BIOS, set the CPU to 4100 MHz and the vCore to 1.4. Jumped into Windows and it was running nice and stable. Now running Cinebench at the 4.1 yielded just under 1400. Now that's a pretty damn good score considering the CPU only costs $169 US. So firing at all cores at 4.1 was impressive. Now VRMs on this board were running nice and cool, even doing countless hours of gaming. Cinebench running a heap of times, the VRMs didn't go over 45 degrees. And now you may think that the little VRM coolers or the heatsinks on this B450 Gaming K4 are quite small. They're actually designed quite well. I much prefer a heatsink that instead of just a big hunk of metal, a solid heap of metal, the VRM cooling on this board, they're more sort of fins. Now they're not the real fine fins you find on like video cards and so on, but they're still aluminium fins, which works better with airflow. You get a slight sort of breeze, especially with top fans sort of bringing air through. They're going to cool much better than just one solid piece of aluminium. Now moving on to some other synthetic benchmarks, Firestrike yielded a score of 11,337, which was pretty impressive, and also TimeSpy was 4,079. Now moving over to some gaming, I didn't spend a whole heap of time gaming, I just looked at Far Cry 5. Now I did run this at Ultra 1080p, you can also run this at 1440p. I wouldn't really drive this system to 4K, you'd probably need to upgrade the video card to something a bit more than an RX 570. Now looking at Far Cry 5, as I said, at Ultra 1080p, we saw gaming of around 60 to 80 FPS. Now that's pretty impressive. Even in intense fight scenes, the frames didn't go under 60 and the max frames were around 80. So that's sort of a nice area to be in. 1440p will be a little bit lower. Now moving on to the Polychrome RGB, I'm not sure how many brands of B450 do have addressable RGB. I don't think they all do, but as I said earlier in this video, the ASRock does have the 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB, and the software does work quite well. As you can see, there are a heap of modes. I've got it here set to rainbow. I've actually got it synced to the Deepcool Castle CPU cool. It does have the ability to run on a separate controller, so I've just used a splitter and then it runs into the same ones as the fans do, and there's quite a few modes you can cycle through and so on. So that is a nice little feature, especially on such a budget little board like this. You do get the one addressable header, and then of course you get the two standard 12-volt RGB headers. Now last thing I want to cover is price for this system. I haven't done sort of a full spec'd out price, but the motherboard, as I said earlier, comes in at $99 US, and the 2600 Ryzen R5 comes in at 169 USD. So that means the whole system you're looking at, something like this, is just a bit over $1,000 US, so about 1100 to 1200 depending on where you're going to get your items from. And I've used the Seasonic PSUs. Now that is quite a high, that's a platinum, I think a 550 watt fanless. You don't really need to use a platinum unit like that. I just had that because it's nice and quiet and it is nice and small. But yeah, definitely a system like this, throwing in a B450 board like this, they're ultra cheap. You can do your overclocking and it does run nice and cool. But yeah, that's it for this video. I just want to thank ASRock for sending this board, giving me the chance to do this build. I want to thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for next time.